Hello, it's Tom Donald from the London Contemporary School of Piano. Today we're going to walk through the classic Beatles tune, Let It Be. And here I am in Leipzig, Germany, at the Blutner Piano Factory. It's the same brand of piano that the Beatles recorded all their classic tunes on, including this one. I'm on a really flashy new piano. This one's made out of acrylic. I can't imagine how heavy it is. So I thought, well, this would be a lot of fun to do a walkthrough of this piece together. Now, the big problem people have when they play pop music on the piano is that they think that they have to play pop music as if they were playing Mozart. Now, if I'm playing a piece of music by Mozart, there's room for interpretation, of course, but Mozart has written the music down on a score, on a piece of manuscript, which has been passed down for generations, and we know exactly what note we should play at exactly what time. It's all been written down. That is basically the recording of the music. There was no recording industry in Mozart's time, but there actually sort of was the recording industry. The record labels were the publishing industry, and then composers wrote down their music. And that's how they got paid. It was a really great gig for them. But things changed when we got to the 20th century, and we have the recording revolution, which of course the Beatles were like the second revolution of recording at Abbey Road Studios, where they started playing around with tape and looping stuff and adding layers and taking things production to a next level. Well, that type of music is not notated. John Lennon and Paul McCartney didn't go into their office with their quilted pens and write about it. I don't think they even read music. They worked out the songs together, the chords and the words. They played it together, worked it out in the studio, and created a production. So how do we bring this to the piano? Well, the key with pop music on the piano is you have to learn to be flexible. Pop music is not easy to play on the piano for that reason, because you have to learn flexibility. And today we're actually that's what we're learning. Oh yeah, we're learning Let It Be, but we're learning flexibility. Because you need to learn how to play this in different scenarios. How are you going to play this for a sing-song around the piano when you got singers with you? How are you going to play it on the piano when it's just solo piano? Flexibility, a bit like a tennis player, learning to play doubles, learning to play singles. You've got to change the way you play to suit different situations. And yes, even if you're a beginner or an intermediate pianist, you should be thinking about this now. You don't want to try and learn this later. You want to get into these principles now. So you're in the right place. Stay tuned, because we're going to learn those techniques right now. So let's just imagine we're in a scenario and we're playing for singers. We're playing for a professional singer or an amateur singer, or we're singing it ourselves, or we're just hosting a sing-song around the piano, because music should be social. You've got a piano in your house or a keyboard, you should be social with it. You know, it's not just something you just lock away in your office. How boring. It's about socializing, music is. It's about bringing people together. So in that scenario, we only need to play the chords. We don't need to play the melody. In fact, if it's a really good singer, you don't want to play the melody, because that's sort of insulting them. That's sort of saying, hey, I don't think you know this tune, so I'm going to help you. Don't do that to a good singer. They won't like it. Our job is to play the chords. So what are the chords for Let It Be? C major, G major, A minor, F, C major, G major, F, E, D. So it's just a walk down. E minor, D minor, C. You might prefer to do it like this with a slash chord. D minor 7, C, F, C over E, D minor 7, C, or you can do it either way. You don't have to be exact to one way of doing it, but these are our chords. Let's do this again. Let's think of it in numbers. 1 to 5, chord 6, chord 4, chord 1, chord 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Find myself in times of trouble. Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. So we're just singing and playing the chords. There will be an answer, let it be. And this is a great way to think about music, because if you want to play pop music on the piano, pop music has two secret ingredients. They're not a secret, but they're a secret in the sense that the everyday listener doesn't think they're important. The everyday listener thinks melody is important in pop music, and it is important. I'm not saying it isn't. But actually, the real important ingredients is the combination of chords and lyrics. There's like a magic when you put chords and lyrics together. The chords drive the melody. You can't have melody without chords. The melody needs an enclosure, and that's the chord progression. And the words and the chords together, they're sort of like the parents of the melody. So we want to think of that, those two things. Even if, singing and playing at the same time is quite hard. So a good way to practice is you might just talk the words. When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. See, that works well. It just gives me a context and to sing and play at the same time, and to help the others who might be singing, who might be standing around the piano. Do sing songs around the piano. Have a few drinks with your friends. It's a really great way to play music together. You don't have to be perfect. You can blubber around. It's fine. Your friends will love you for doing it. It's fun. It's social. It's what music's meant to be. So then we got the chorus. Let's look at the chords for the chorus. Let it be, let it be, let it be, oh, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. So we've got chord 6, chord 3, chord 4, chord 1. 1 to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's put the whole thing together just with chords. I'm going to use some inversions now. And then you've got those lovely chords at the end. So now we need to imagine another scenario. And by the way, if you are a fan of our work at the London Contemporary School of Piano, you need to head on over to our website, contemporaryschoolofpiano.com, to get our free resources kit, which includes chords to many of the songs we're covering on these videos, including this one. And we also have a piano buyer's guide for those of you who might be thinking, it would be lovely to have a piano in my home so I can run these social occasions and, just sing songs around the piano with the family. Having a piano is just if that's something you'd be interested in doing, you probably need some advice on what you need to do, because buying a piano is a big investment. So that's also in our free resources kit. Some information on that. So the other scenario we're imagining now is we're playing totally solo piano. It's very serious. I'm giving a solo piano recital. I'm playing Let It Be. So I'm not singing. It's a solo, more classical thing. And it is a more classical concept, playing solo. So I'm going to have to play the melody. So the mistake so many people make when they play the melody is they go, okay, I'll shove the chords down here in my left hand. And play the melody in the right hand. That sounds terrible. So just don't do that. There are some things you can do to give a sense of the chord in the left hand. But the actual reality of what you want to do is you want to combine the melody and the chords in the right hand together at the same time. Let me say that again. You want to combine the melody and chords in the right hand at the same time. Is that easy? No, it's not easy. But this is solo piano playing. Solo piano playing is not easy. So that's the reality. So I'm going to give you some steps to develop this skill. Whilst it's not easy, I've had students who've successfully learnt to do this, and if they've really committed themselves to practicing, they've learnt this skill in, 6 to 12 months by just really working at it. And some students who might be a bit luckier or put extra time into it have done it a little quicker. But what you want to do, the first step is you want to get a sense of the melody through the chord. So we're going to do some right hand practice to develop this skill. And what we often do on some of our programs, like the Complete Musician course that we have a step-by-step way of learning how to do this. So if that's something you'd be interested in exploring, you should think about our Complete Musician program, because it's a blueprint to continued musical success. And you'll have lifelong access to the resources and the materials and a structure to learn and improve. But one of the first steps I would use is playing the rhythm of the melody with the chords before you even play the melody. So I'll demonstrate what that is. When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me. So I'm playing the rhythm of the melody with the chords. So that's step one. Step two is now we're going to look for the melody and have it on the top of the chord. Now, a lot of the time on the piano, you will find that the melody is either inside the chord or has passing notes around the chord. It's either inside the chord or has passing notes around the chord because the melody needs an enclosure. And the enclosure is the chord. When I find myself in times, you see, I've got the melody at the top of that C major chord. There's a passing note up to the A, and then I had the E in the middle. It's a bit like a treasure hunt. I'm looking for the melody inside my chords. I'm not even using sheet music. And I'm using my ear. Yes, I'm playing by ear, but I'm actually leveraging the chord to find the melody. So I might have a sheet music with just the chords on it, a lead sheet, to help me find the melody. It's a great idea. It's like a great way of training your ear without going totally blind at it. Now that part of the melody, times of trouble, it's just spelling out the G major chord. Mother Mary comes to me. Now that Mother Mary comes to me, there's a D there, but leads up to the E, so I end up resolving on all of my A minor notes. And that's a passing note. Mother Mary. F major. Speaking words of wisdom, I play that C major in an inversion so I can have the melody at the top. Speaking words of wisdom. That's my approach. Just put my bass in the left hand, as I normally would. Now, is that easy to do, to work out by yourself? No. But once you can do it, do you ever have to buy arrangements of sheet music that's inaccurate and got problems on it? No, you're totally independent. And you can get gigs playing cocktail piano. I mean, that's a really, really, really great skill to have. And it's transferable across many, many pop songs. So again, you're learning flexibility. You're not learning inflexibility. Look, I know classical pianists that are incredibly trained. They have phenomenal technique. They can play scales at breakneck speeds. but they don't have flexibility. You're like, can you play me Let It Be? They're like, give me the music. And, you know, that's it. And if the music arrangement doesn't make sense, they can't put it as a sing-song around the piano. They don't have the flexibility. So this is a really, really, really vital skill. That's a skill we teach in the Complete Musician program, by the way, because you've got to put those pillars together of groove, rhythm and groove, chords, 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 marry the two together, add improvisation and melody to it, and then arrangement and integration. You put those 4 pillars together, you are a balanced 21st century musician. So just think about that. That's a skill you want to start developing. That's a blueprint. So now, let me put the rest of the song in that format. I'm only going to play the right hand so you can see everything I'm doing. And I'm not going to tell you how I'm doing it. I've already told you that. So I want you to think about it now. I want you to see what I'm doing and think about it. You can use YouTube to slow me down. You've got all of that stuff there, but I'm going to play it slowly anyway. So just watch what I'm doing and think about how I'm arranging it. I'm going to be a taskmaster with you now. Okay, I'm adding a couple of bluesy gospel runs to it. Which I'll have some other videos on that and how I'm doing that. But firstly, you've got to get through the other steps, right? It doesn't happen overnight. I'm going to play us out now. You want to find out more about our coaching and the work we do with our students? You can visit our website, contemporaryschoolofpiano.com. If you want to go on a real musical journey, that's where you find out how. Or you can check out my new album, My Tempered Clavier, which is improvisations in every major and minor key. You can listen to it on Apple Music or Spotify. Or in the meantime, you can listen to Let It Be. Now get to practice.